Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to HMP. Strap on your spandex because this week we'll be reviewing Invincible, presenting Adam Eve, the special episode. What a great title that is. I'm your host, Adam Portress, and joining me today, just like the dad in this special, he's always wanted his daughters to be stupid. Sweet Sean Kovacs from the internet.
That guy's got a certain style that says, I stopped caring.
And he too eats out of dumpsters, but not to stay off the grid. It's just economical. Bruce Leslie.
I'm a prickly pear, and I got to say, I love that document Adam Eve.
It's all the same thing if we're not honest with ourselves here. And welcome to the show, Silas.
Yeah, I'm better than my dad at podcasting.
Oh, the gauntlet has been thrown down, ladies and gentlemen. If Bruce has been out for a couple of weeks, so Silas has said, listen, if he's going to be flaky and stuff, I want to be able to fill the shoes. If indeed the man falls down the stairs and can't get up and anything, he's like, I want to be able to jump in the fray, and we're gonna see how that goes today. You ready for this fun and excitement? I hear you would love Invincible. Is that right?
Yes, it's like literally probably the best superhero comic I've ever read.
And I told him if he does a good job, I'll buy him tickets to see Young Gravy at the State Fair.
Yeah.
Tell you what, you know how to get the kids to do what they need to do, Bruce, and that's important. Like I said, today we're talking Invincible, presenting Adam Eve special episode. That is what Amazon has decided to title it, and that's as what I shall call it the entire time because it is as stupid as it can possibly get.
I've seen a couple of anime titles a little more stupider.
Well, okay, that's fair enough. The anime gets kind of the top one. What's one of your favorite? Mugen Train was always one that, like, when I first heard it, I'm like, why am I going to see this thing?
Anime titles just don't stop. That's the thing. So there's like Attack on Titan, the final season, part 3, the final chapters, part 1. Like that was the name of a episode.
Why? Just have it like part 1, part 2, part 3. You don't need 18 different names with it and stuff like that. But they had to, say something about this one because this is it's a prequel of sorts and stuff. We'll get into all of that. But before we do want to say a giant thank you to everyone that supports the show over at patreon.com/HMP. There you get pre-show, post-show, Dinger Zone this week. We talked about Bruce's little escapades on the West Coast and whatnot. So check all that stuff out. And again, whatever you deem this show worthy, if you showed up on a Monday and this show was not in your podcast feed, what would you pay to get us back for that month? If it's $1 all the way up, whatever it is, put that in a form, send it all to us, patreon.com/HMP, and get yourself more
that's
product
not
the
even
first time.
That's not even something you have to imagine. That did happen with one of our shows this week.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and if you can't do that,
I should have paid $1.
But I tell you one thing, if you can't do that, why don't you head on over to the iTunes and drop us a 5-star review, aka Humdinger.
Humdinger.
And you can be like, we got one. It's been a minute, but we got a new one, and I got to read it. It's just, it's 5 stars, Humdinger, entitled "It's a Great Show!" ! And it is by Big Butt Battle Royale.
I love it. I have a new favorite fan. Like they don't even need a nickname. They with their own nickname.
And this one's even more interesting, and I'm glad Silas is here. He might be able to point us in a particular direction with this one. And it reads as follows: "Hi, I'm one of the host friend's son, and I listen to it with my dad." There's no punctuation in here, so if I'm just kind of reading and not stopping, this is how it's written. I am one of the host friend's son, and listen to it with my dad. I like it. There are not many shows like this about superheroes, except for that one X-Man show. I listened to the Batman Unlimited and Iron Man 1 episodes and like them a lot. Those are a lot of words that are put together, but as far as I'm concerned, that's a 5-star review, aka Humdinger. And that's all we need. That's all we need. If you put together some letters and
I'm going to say I think the odds are it's probably one of my kids' friends.
I'm gonna put very good odds on that. Actually, yeah, I think we all put that together on account of I have no children.
Kind of an odd thing for the friends of one of your daughters to be writing, Sean. I'm just going to say.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I have no children. Right, Sean has daughters.
I will say it has been getting back to me lately since we're kind of leaning into YouTube more.
Mm-hmm.
It has been getting back to me from my family about everything that I'm doing wrong.
Oh, no.
It makes sense though, but thank
Even
you
worse critic
thank
than
you to
yourself.
Big Butt Battle Royale. And if you'd like to be like Big Butt Battle Royale and get your review read on this program, head on over to the iTunes there, give us a review, and we really appreciate that. And do it on Spotify too. You can't write a review, but you can leave a 5-star. It's always nice. So thank you to all of those fine people. All right, let's get into it. Here is the IMDb plotline for Invincible, presenting Adam Eve's special episode. And as we all know, IMDb 100% correct in everything they say and or do. In this special prequel episode, Samantha Adam Eve Wilkins discovers her superpowers as a young girl and must come to terms with her own sinister origins as she discovers a family she never knew she had. This is written by Helen Lee. She wrote Overcast and Severance, also with Robert Kirkman, who wrote the comic, of course, and Walking Dead. You know who that guy is based on the comics by Kirkman, Walker and Otley. Directed by Haley Henrik. She was a storyboard artist previously for Star Trek Prodigy, Jurassic Park Cretaceous, and my favorite title, I've never seen it, but I love the title, Randy Cunningham, Ninth Grade Ninja.
I liked that one when I was younger.
Was that a show that's another one I was just like, I'll bet Silas knows what that is.
Yeah, old Cartoon Network show, I think.
But
I liked it.
so we kind of, I think we covered the first season of Invincible on the podcast and everything, and I think we all pretty enjoyed it. Yeah, memory serves.
Yeah, it was
Yeah, man. I think that it was one of those that not only did we like it, I feel like it was pretty universally loved by the audience too.
Yeah, the memes everywhere.
Yep. And it's surprising how much care they took of the source material versus what usually happens in this situation.
And it made for some good conversation. Like, what's the difference between this and the boys? Like, what's different about them and what do they have in common? Like, they obviously have a common thread that has drawn people to both properties, but they still have their own themes that they possess independently.
Yeah, that is something that was nice, and that I thought about going into this was just like, oh, is this going to feel like another? Because it's superhero themed and teamed, kind of, so to speak, and everything. So you kind of go like, oh, is it going to be more of this sort of thing? And it's not. It's wildly different, and I think that's so great that we live in that time where you can have things that are somewhat similar in idea and basic tone and stuff, but just aren't also related in any way, shape, or form. And I like that. And I like with the animation of this show, the simplistic complexity of it, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Because there's a lot about it that's very simple, and there's a lot about it that's also very complex
straightforward
at the same time. Yeah.
And it's not like your neo-modern storytelling techniques that seem to happen in this sort of thing. Like it's written more like Top Gun Maverick than Everything Everywhere All at Once. Like it's a fairly straightforward story, which I appreciate when it comes to something like this. When even though I watched and very much enjoyed the first season of Invincible, and I've read 12 trades of Invincible, and that's not even me overstating. I literally have read the first 12 trades of Invincible. It's I forget. And so to have to come into this new, like a baby, and have it just some straightforward, standard but well done storytelling was a refreshing change.
Well, let's get in. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say that the source material too with Invincible, it's clearly Kirkman's love letter to everything he loved about superhero comics. I mean, you feel all the things he liked about the X-Men.
It's very Bronze Agey, yes.
But it's also shows that he loves Watchmen. Like it shows he understands superhero deconstruction, and I just get it. I get the idea. I don't know how old he is, but I get the idea he's about my age.
He's close.
And he's been formed by some of the same comic book experiences I have, because he really seems to speak pretty clearly to me in the homages that he's making and everything. So I just feel like if I were able to really write good comic books, I would want to write something like Invincible, like your love letter to the things that kind of made you who you are.
Yeah. And it's Watchmen. He does this like Watchmen in a way, but it's obviously a lot less cynical.
Yes.
Than Watchmen. So it comes across nicer, I guess, even though like there are areas and stuff that are very, Kirkman-esque, if you will. It doesn't feel like it's as harsh as the other, I guess.
Yeah,
So-
Kirkman is known for his gore. Like people think it's just
Yeah.
because of The Walking Dead, but he was doing gore before he did The Walking Dead.
He sure did. And it comes out in spades in Invincible, the book, and on the show, which I'm glad they didn't cheap out on. Not even in this prequel do they cheap out on the gore, which I thought was great.
Yeah, you get to see
I got a
some
question.
real
I got a question. Hold on.
Okay.
So Bruce and Silas, as much Invincible as I have read, and I have read a ton, I don't remember there being an Adam Eve one-off. Do you guys?
I don't really.
I don't.
remember.
I never ran across it, but it really feels like a one shot, doesn't it?
It does.
Or a mini series or something.
Yes, like a 4-issue mini.
So I don't
profile.
recall it ever being collected like that, but they may have taken like glimpses that have been shared from other stories where she's talking about her past and put that together to make this.
Mhm.
But I also think, I don't know, I didn't look at the writing credits.
No, Kirkman co-wrote this episode, so
So if he
Yeah.
co-wrote it, it could probably be an original story.
this
Like, I don't
seems
think
like
it would
this
be
is
allowed.
yeah.
I don't think you would allow someone else to write a totally original story, but if he's the co-writer, this could be totally original.
Yeah, from
I
what I'm
also-
to understand,
I-
he's very hands-on in this whole series.
I remember the character of Adam Eve being very sad. Like she sad a lot in the Invincible book. But the only thing I could remember is that she didn't get along with her parents. I don't remember any of this back matter to her character. So I couldn't. What I couldn't figure out is was all of this already here, and they just put it together in one cohesive story, or is this something that they just cut out a whole cloth? I could not figure it out.
I'm pretty sure they just wrote it.
Yeah. I feel like it's, if you create a character, you have lots and lots of thoughts about that character that haven't ever been put down. So I think this is Kirkman's thoughts about Adam Eve for 10 years, 15 years or something. And then this is the way he's going to debut it now instead of a new, one shot or miniseries or spinoff.
Also a very interesting idea to do. Just go, oh, no, we won't do that in the book. We'll do that in a special one-off animated episode and stuff.
Well, now
I
he
mean-
can specifically do that since he has that long-standing deal with Amazon now, so
Oh,
he
yeah.
can do whatever he wants.
Yeah. And I also always get his company confused with like Tom Cruise's company or something.
Oh, Sky Dancer.
Skydance and Sky Dancer. It's real easy to get Skydance confused with Sky Dancer.
You think they get each other's mail every now and then?
Invincible with Tom Cruise attached. It's sold.
Well, if that wasn't enough, let me sell everybody on this animated Invincible prequel because this sucker's got everything. Hope you weren't looking for a prequel that will hold your hand because this sucker is off to the races and they don't care what you don't know about this series. They're just going. We got goofy costumes, that room kid, not to be confused with the room kid who is actually an adult named Danny who may have been special needs. Who knows? We got She-Hulk, Bill Dauterive, the late great Lance Riddick, Phil Lamar, an Omni-Man cameo that cost probably about as much as the rest of the voice cast in this movie. We got the Guardians of the Globe, a short talking fish that is no doubt Bruce's favorite character. Laser blasting, face smashing, baby swapping, skin crawling, gum chewing, sky surfing, arm exploding, metal heads, fun with Legos, the most ungrateful a-hole father anyone could muster, school for weirdos, smashed faces, melting bodies, force fields galore, and an animated action sequence that's actually one of the best 2023 has to offer, live action or not. This special's got everything.
Oh, you knocked it out there, Adam. You
Yeah.
managed to cap all the major storylines that converge here. I see a little Jean Grey, Dark Phoenix. You kind of called that with the lousy parents. As I said before, we've got the other elements of Watchmen, maybe some other elements of the X-Men too. You capped it all there, Adam. Hats off and
I'm still
applause.
trying to process that.
I-
That was also quick.
When I watched this, I actually started to watch it last night, and I was a little bit late, and I was like, I just wasn't quite feeling it. I rewatched it today. I'm glad I waited for the rewatch and everything. I enjoyed it a whole lot more. I think I just must have been quite tired.
Yeah.
But man, I like I said, I'm just going to skip for a half a second here because this is where I really want to shout, and because this is about an hour-long special and everything, but man, you get to that overpass action sequence. It is so good. It is one of the best action sequences, live action or animated, this year. It's done so well. It's
so good,
I
man.
can't believe that an animated show took the amount of time that they did to pull that off, and it's just like, this is what Hollywood action scenes are missing
Yes.
right now.
And what I would say, if I was going to compliment like the most predictable action that's going to sit well with me, it's going to be Mission Impossible right now.
Mhm.
And I think this was kind of like an animated equivalent to that Mission Impossible style action. So I was very impressed with it. And it was so good that I didn't even like think about how good it was. I was just enjoying the moment, which is always nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's how you know
Way.
they're doing a great job.
It kind of reminded me of Iron Man 2 when he was fighting the guy with the whips on the raceway,
Flash.
you know. Yeah.
He's Mickey Rourke. I wanted to name you after him, but Mom wouldn't let me.
We all had to be
bullet
S.
dodged.
Man, Whiplash is a great name.
Yeah.
Whiplash Leslie.
Is Iron Man 2 still your favorite Marvel movie?
I haven't seen it in a while, so
It's pretty good.
Don't lie to
I like
this
the
this
silver
this kid.
trim.
Come on now. Iron Man 2,
Sorry to
the best
derail,
Iron
guys.
Man.
I was hardly even alive at that point. Okay, when it
Well,
came out.
it was implied by the fact that Iron Man 2 is one of your favorites.
Yeah, actually, it is.
Yeah, as a
Right.
child, we all like things that were not all that great. You look
That's
back and
true.
you're like, oh, we were just dumb children, weren't we?
Yeah.
But I do see what you're talking about, because they got the Monaco race cars, so they're out on the racetrack with all the cars coming, and Whiplash is like tearing at the cars the way that these bioorganic arms are stretching out and throwing cars,
With
and
the
she's trying to
rocks
save
in
them all.
the weird-
Yes. That's a great comparison there,
And he was
Silas. I
slinging
didn't
them
think about
around,
that.
you know?
Like I said, I was shocked at how like the show itself really makes little to almost no reference to the previous Invincible stuff that we saw. They really just throw you into the pool and just hope you can swim
they
your way
do-
out.
I don't want to get too far ahead, but we'll talk about it later. They do have some fun with the fact that they're ignoring Invincible while this is Invincible stories.
Yeah, that is pretty great. I do like
Where
that.
was Mark Grayson during all this?
Yes.
Yeah.
That even that is deftly handled when they're like, where was Mark during all this? And you just see him with the tape, with the duct
Okay,
tape.
man.
Oh, it's so good.
So what did you guys think about the multiplicity twist when we start fighting those bad guys?
I think that it is the Americanized version of Akira, which is great. Like that's
Oh man, that is another great call that I feel so
Leave me
dumb for not seeing,
alone.
because we both watched that, or all three of us watched that recently.
Tetsuo Akira Kanata.
I only know that movie from the meme where it's like, leave me alone. And it's like, ding.
That's hilarious. It's just like, that's how I know Akira, the leave me alone meme.
It's
the kids these days.
it's one it's a wonderful you know what, I'm going to be charitable and say homage to it. I think that they're doing the same thing.
Yep.
Where you know everything that's happening everything that's happening action wise. You know where everyone is, you know the power sets, you know the danger. And that is not something that, Jesus, as we were saying earlier, that even action movies are getting across these days.
Yeah,
And this little tiny cartoon has it.
And if you're an animated property, you can do a lot worse than let's say be heavily influenced by Akira. I mean, that's one of the greats of all time.
Yeah. Well, you guys know it's one of my faves. I just saw it at the right time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Which means that somebody maybe saw this at the right time, and this is going to be their favorite thing, and that is a very good thing. I think with the superhero glut that we've gotten, Secret Invasion specifically,
I
where
haven't watched that yet.
oh, what a surprise! Neither has anyone else.
It hasn't
no
been
one who's not contractually obligated to watch that has.
That's true. And I thought maybe it was because I was just tired of watching superheroes, but then I saw this and I was like, oh, this is the thing that I love. This is not a job watching
Just
this.
tired of watching boring superheroes.
Exactly. I'm tired of watching garbage. And that is what we keep getting.
Well, I mean, is this when movies, projects like this, shows like The Boys, movies like Joker, are we going through the 1986 in comics only in cinema now, where the deconstruction's all the rage?
Well, it happened. I think it already started, right? I mean, it started before even the superhero movie became what it is now, right? I mean,
Deconstruction's always been on the scene, but I don't think it's actually been like what you have to do to succeed.
oh, I see. What you're talking about is basically the Unforgiven version of the Western.
Yeah, like at
I
this
see.
point, I think after this year, man, this would have made a good Dinger Zone topic. But I think if you're not making the Joker, you're not making a superhero movie soon.
Yeah, you like. Hopefully,
It's
we are
cost less than 100 million and gross $1 billion.
Yes.
But at the same time, too, like I feel like this is something that like Hollywood kind of needs to watch. This is done in an hour. This is a whole movie. This is an origin story of a character. We get a beginning, a middle, and an end. And you could throw out another, if you were doing it live action or something, you could throw out another 30 minutes. But like it'd be good enough. It's as good as like Shazam 2.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm just like, that's what I was kind of flabbergasted about. And like, what again, the reason that I liked, and I'm sure you guys are probably the same way. The reason that I liked comic books growing up was it had two things. It had pictures and words. And those two things, the best for me, always the best comics had great art and great writing. You can have a better one of either or, and the book can be okay, but the ideal is to have both of those things be strong.
Yeah, and I mean, the publications realized that early on when they wanted to go from comic strips to comic books, and that's why there's teams, and unlike comic strips, which were always one guy.
And Adam, there's a bit of a gap between Bruce and I and you.
Mm-hmm.
When you think about great art, great stories, what is the first comic that comes to your head?
For me, and I'll be honest, it is within my age and stuff, and it is all like it's the bombasticness of the Image age. Like while I liked, and I'm the first person to admit it, while I liked a lot of the art flashiness of the Image stuff, and and it was what a great world that we lived in, to where we finally got comics of like decent quality paper and stuff. So they gave so much to us and everything. But obviously, you could tell that the writing just wasn't quite there. But when I think like wild and crazy art, just that like that mid '90s kind of just run of everybody's just doing real insane work.
So, Sean, I don't know if you're with me on this, but for my age group, I think most people, if they're being honest, who is that golden duo that hit them right in the feels, it's Claremont and Byrne.
Yes.
Claremont and Byrne's a big one. You got David and
Kuhn
doing Hulk and stuff like that.
Those were my two guys.
Those are those combinations.
That Incredible Hulk run was the run that
I almost jumped in and referred to Peter David as Larry David. I'm so glad I caught myself on that one.
That was the run that really solidified my love of comic books, because it was the one I couldn't wait for. Like, oh my God, I can't believe it's only been 3 weeks.
And circling back to how comic books can kind of surprise you, because I had no interest in the X-Men before Claremont's stories caught me. Mostly the Rachel Summers stuff. Well, not Rachel Summers. The the clone version of Jean Grey version.
Right.
Madeline. That's it. Madeline. I couldn't think of her name for a minute. That stuff's what first pulled me in. And I didn't expect it to. And I think the same thing's kind of happening here with Adam Eve. This is a character from Invincible that I really thought is just kind of a stock character. You just need somebody with these powers. You need a cute girl, blah, blah. But then this took a character I didn't care about and made her more interesting than Mark Grayson.
But that's a Kirkman staple, right? I mean,
yeah. You know what? I'm such a sucker for it that it still pulled me back in. Like, I would not have watched this if we weren't watching it for the show, and I'm glad I did.
Like, think about all of the craziness within Invincible. I'm starting to. It's starting to meld together what's from comic book and what's from TV show. But when you get into the origin of the character Robot, when you learn what all that is, I lost my damn mind the first time I read that.
And that's because, in my opinion, as a comic book writer, Kirkman has that same thing that Jeff Johns has, which is they have the comic book fan who always wished somebody would have told him a little bit more about Dr. Fate, or you always wished, just a little bit more about Martian Manhunter. Like, the characters that weren't on Super Friends always it just enthralled me as a kid because I felt like I knew nothing about them. And I think that turns somebody into a Jeff Johns or a Kirkman, where you take the side characters and give them the most wonderful, rich stories. And it connects with humanity because people are people, like the guy helping put away the carts at the grocery store may have the most interesting story if you sit and talk to them.
So,
and that's what makes the world kind of cool.
So when you now look into this special, this hour-long mini, there is, on its face, it shouldn't be any great shakes, right? I mean, it's Adam Eve is an experiment that was successful. They keep trying to recreate the same experiment and they keep failing. And so that's what she basically has to contend with. And when you're just mentioning the plot to someone, that does not seem like something that you want to watch. It's just the execution of it is so well done that I could totally see watching this again and being completely content in doing so.
How did you guys like Skid Row Doc Brown?
It's great. It's great.
Yeah. And you got Stephen Root.
Stephen Root do
Come
the
on.
voice. Get out of here.
Oh man, we were talking little Mike Judge earlier, weren't we?
Yeah.
We were.
Stephen Root and Mike Judge are the same person, right?
They're practically at the hip. I love them though. That's just I love that they consistently work together and stuff too. That also makes me happy. When any director has like a cavalcade of stars that's willing to follow them around to whatever they do, you gotta love. Yeah, you gotta love that guy.
Get on
Stephen
board.
Root, he's set for life as long as those swing line residuals keep coming through.
Hey man, I would hope that somebody that gets a penny off of that, but no, I'm sure Slingline is just like every bit of my dime, and that's going to us.
It's not, but that is a I can't remember what it's called, but it's when you don't make any money from bringing back the red swing line stapler, but what that does is that gives you a cachet to get your foot in the door for the next project. Like I'm almost certain that door doesn't swing open for King of the Hill if the red swing line stapler isn't such a big deal.
Yeah. I think you're right on that one.
Yeah.
But I mean, he did also have a whole lot of animation clout with Beavis and Butthead that would have probably made King of the Hill happen.
Didn't hurt.
Yes, there is that too. But I mean, just from the simple fact of, look, you are moving X amount of swing line.
I'll put it this way. That's what gets it on Fox instead of MTV.
Yes. And that's my point. Thank you.
Are like, okay, let's talk about these parents, because here's the deal. Like, if you believe that your child has died and then by the grace of God and a miracle or some crazy Doc Brown scientist, you get a second chance, they go, we thought your baby was dead, here is your baby alive. Wouldn't you treat that child a little bit better throughout the years instead of being wildly like you have a miracle baby on your hand as far as you're concerned? You should thank God every day that child is breathing.
I mean, that's 100% Jubilee's parents from the first episode of X-Men 92.
Exactly.
Yeah,
he almost looked the same.
Worst sandwich.
Yeah. It's once again, Kirkman is a lifelong fan, same age as me. We're getting all the same references here.
But the worst sandwich ever. But also made me go like, I bet Bruce likes a cream cheese and olive sandwich. That sounds about.
No, thank you.
But at least she was smart and goes, I'm going to turn it into a cheeseburger, not just a regular hamburger.
That was awesome.
She adds the $1 extra slice of cheese on there. That's pretty smart.
Also, we're just poo-pooing that Sammy, but that's half a muffalata right there, fellas.
But it also proves that it was just a mental block against organic material, because that sandwich was made entirely from things that were alive.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I didn't think of that.
I think Kirkman is smart enough that is not there by accident.
Yes, I agree with you. I think that he is that
now,
smart.
if that was David Goyer, it would be there by accident, but still work.
That's what we call a happy oops-a-daisy. That's a good David S. Goyer.
Maybe they meant living organic material.
Well, anyway, I like that I picked up on that after the fact.
I thought that was a really as far as like a superhero origin story, and then like being able to show the power set and everything like that and build that world really quickly and stuff like that. Just super efficient, and it works really well. Also, what a difference. And I'm sure this comes from real life. And again, this is half written by a man, half written by a woman. But if guys had that experience in the treehouse where your buddy is doing some wild and crazy stuff, guys would not have that, oh no, this is scary, I'm out of here reaction. Every dude would be like, how can we exploit this?
Yes, of course.
How can this end up with me saying, put your fingers in your ear, Silas? How can this end up with me seeing chowder buckets?
Yeah, like there'd
That
be
is what a middle school kid would think.
the girl reaction is this is scary. I don't want to have nothing to do with this. You're frightening me. Every boy just goes, how are we robbing banks?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, if you could manipulate atoms to just create whatever you want, just make the money.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just
I
make
think
money.
you're-
Just
you're-
go
you're
spend
miss-
it.
You could go even a step closer if you
Yeah.
wanted to there, Silas. You don't need to make the money. You could make the stuff.
Yeah.
You don't understand how
money
hard
is
an Apple
power.
TV is to make. There's a lot of little parts.
You could cause inflation, though. But
Hey, Adam, if a factory filled with Chinese 12-year-olds can do it, so can you.
Fair
10
enough.
cents an hour sound good?
Has anybody thought about pulling those kids out of there and just doing something great with them? Hey, listen, you know how to make this thing. What else can you make?
See what their thoughts are.
Egg fried rice.
Oh, yeah.
Have you put anything
We're going to
together?
pay you fair, and no 8-hour workday for you.
I'll tell you what, all of you kids, I guarantee I'm going to give you a cell phone and you're going to come up with a movie better than that stupid Robert Rodriguez superhero kid movie.
Oh my God. Yeah.
with
Easy.
Christian Slater. Yeah.
I don't even
Easy.
want to know.
It's wretched.
Hey,
It's
look,
like-
does this,
It's like he's like, let's make
Ethan
Spy
Slater.
Kids, but awful.
does this one shot with Adam Eve make you guys super excited for season 2 of Invincible? Because I think
Yes.
that's what its job is. I
It
think
definitely,
did a good job.
it definitely did a great job.
Yeah.
yeah,
And-
it's a primer for that second season, and like it's like an hour long trailer, if you will, just going like, hey, remember how cool this show was? It's like, here's a little part of it, and now we're gonna get back to the cool stuff. And they may even be doing this to go like, hey, go back and watch that first season again, get hype on this bad boy because number 2 is right around the corner.
It
Can we
tells me-
talk about? Can we talk about also the hidden great thing about everything with Invincible and the Invincible universe, which is the names. The character names are just the best. You have Adam, Eve. There's a character named Sidekick on the show. There is like the good scientist's name is Stedman. Like, come on, man! Like everything about this is great. I love Multipole, and then there's duplicate.
I
Like,
don't know his name, but I think he's funny because he's just Wolverine with hammer hands.
yeah. It's again and again and again. The names are so clever and fun that is sorely lacking from a lot of superhero movies and TV shows and whatever, what have you, is that it's supposed to be fun.
And the shows are both great, but if you're just talking about the source material, I think Invincible flies a lot higher than the boys. So
Me too.
they got some pretty good stuff to work with, and I'm glad they're not squandering the opportunity.
But I'll tell you that the TV show seems to do the thing that the books don't, which is that the TV show is adding to the mythos in a good way that the books never had. Right? Like the books are far dumber than the TV show is. And it's
And we're talking
kind
about
of
the boys at this
the
point,
boys,
right?
the boys.
Yeah, I just
Okay,
wanna make
that's
sure
what I
people
was-
didn't think you were insulting the Invincible book.
No,
because
no,
they don't
one
do the
for
TV
I
show.
think it's 1-for-1, man. I think that the TV
Yeah,
show and
me
the
too, me
books
too.
are 1-for-1, whereas the boys
There used to
suffers
be
from
a-
the source material being really stupid.
There used to be a game called Monkeys Equals Monkeys. Are you familiar with this?
No.
I
Where
know
it's like you try to
monkeys.
come up with a TV show and a band that are on the same level.
Oh,
So
that's
the
neat.
Monkeys TV show and the Monkeys band, same level.
Oh,
of
okay.
quality.
That's great. That's a fun game.
So like Invincible comic and Invincible show, same quality.
Yeah.
But when you're talking about the boys, you have to take the boys show and match it with a better comic than the one it's based on.
Yes.
But yeah, Invincible is a case of Monkeys Equals Monkeys, where the adaptation is perfect for the source material.
Oh, I like that.
That's not bad. I'm gonna use that one.
Me too.
There's another game called Appropriately Rated, where you take people that folks say are either over or underrated, and you say no, they're actually rated about right.
I'm definitely for those because a lot of times it's just like, nope, that's about where it should be.
Man, that is actually where Adam Portress lives, right there. Like
Yeah.
that is a fastball. That is a Portress fastball.
Everybody
baby.
says it's great. I say it's just all right.
Is it though? Says Adam. Is it?
Dude, I felt so bad with Oppenheimer because like I didn't love it, and I was just like, oh God, I have to be the person that goes back and just goes, it was okay.
Yeah,
Like,
but
you know
man, you are literally the biggest fan of Tenet. Like I don't know anyone who loves Tenet as much as
I
you
watched
do.
that like 3 times in the theater. So like I was a big fan.
It's like kind of crazy how much you love that movie versus how much you're like, because I was almost I was fully expecting you to come out of Oppenheimer and being like, listen, I'm not a religious man. However, like I fully expected you to be like that.
If I was given anything other than a drama, maybe. I mean, like I liked it. I liked it.
Anything other than a drama.
Well, all it was
you wanted the comedy about the Manhattan Project.
Oppenheimer, Nazis are at the door. Don't worry, I've got an idea. It's like MacGyver, but with
Adam all
Oppenheimer.
put it back together. I don't know, because of this New Mexico
Thank
weather.
you. I wanted a couple of snazzy music numbers. Is that wrong? I don't think so. I think I can get Silas over here to back me up.
Destroyer of worlds.
Silas, do you think that Oppenheimer could have used a number or two?
I watched Barbie instead.
See, he had more fun than I did.
They had numbers in it.
No, I'm sure.
So
they did.
I think I'm steering towards Barbie on this one.
Fair enough.
Man, he would have loved that Australian superhero movie we watched a couple weeks back. Captain Condor. What? Captain?
Oh
Invincible.
man, that sucked so bad.
Oh, we
yeah,
did Captain Invincible and Invincible Adam Eve within probably 30 days of one another.
it's true. That's got to be a first. Where's our 1,000-seat venue?
So
It kind of sucks that Omni-Man killed all of these like kind of interesting, neat superheroes and stuff.
But buddy, man, like listen,
I don't know. I don't know stuff.
I don't want to. What's coming next is even better.
Okay, good deal.
I'll say a whole lot of the Global Guardians or whatever their JLA.
Guardians of the Globe.
Yeah, a whole lot of their shtick can wear thin too. So
Yeah.
it's kind of cool to talk about them in the past tense.
It's a lot of one-off jokes, which is why you need to keep cycling out people, which is kind of the point
same
of the
situation with the boys. There's only so many times you want to see this guy's clearly this other guy.
Oh,
Yeah.
Can I say this too? This is another point where I was just like, this is something that we don't see in comic book properties, but yet is in comic books constantly. And that's when they're talking during that big fight scene at the beginning and stuff. Where there's just banter and stuff going on about the situation and things, and like, talking about Omni-Man not showing up and being like sad that he's in reserves. Don't tell him that, blah, blah, blah. Just that kind of back and forth while this action scene is going on. We're getting an action scene, we're getting story explanation going on, and everything. It's just like things that happen in comics all the time that you don't think about.
Spider-Man and his amazing friends. That's I'm talking about comic way, not cartoon way. Yeah, that's something I associate more with Spider-Man when he's working with people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're reading Spider-Man and there's all this stuff that's going on and you don't get that a lot with the live action and things. And so seeing that in animation form and stuff and just having that back and forth, it was like, oh wow, we don't see this thing that is a staple in comic books. It's nice.
True, although I don't know why I just thought of this, but I do love that one bit of banter with Spider-Man when they're putting out the fire and there's the fire department there and he's got the fireman's hat on and he's like, well, great job, guys. I'll see you later, Big Mike, Little Mike. See you guys. Like that part's funny.
Yeah, we needed more stuff like that. And like they did a little bit with new Spider-Man, the MCU, but I always felt like they could have gone a little bit more with the funny.
You guys aren't the real Avengers. Yeah, that's pretty funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, like I said, while it's short and it doesn't, I don't want to say it doesn't add up to anything per se, because maybe that it does in like a later season, which would actually be nice if they have something that's within this episode here that then goes on into the next season of Invincible and has some sort of tracks some way. I think that'd be
Dude, bro,
nice.
with the hand cannon, he's at least in the
both.
books, he's been in both.
They're definitely bringing back that picture that Eve hid in her house.
Oh,
so
for
it's probably
sure.
Gonna be in her tree house or whatever she lives in now. I don't
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah, because she recreated from the molecules in the air her childhood tree house as her Fortress of Solitude.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So, like the first episode, November 3rd, it's a zoom out shot of that picture and then Adam Eve doing some other thing. I don't know.
She's great. I love this character so much.
And I like the voice actor, Jillian Jacobs, that does the adult Adam Eve. You know, I'm a Community fan, so I like her.
Yeah, she seems fun, and Jacob Tremblay as the kind of skin melting kid, which by the way looked really cool. What a really interesting.
Is he going to be typecast though? Didn't he play a child who was disfigured in a movie?
He was at least in that movie. This is at least voiceover.
Oh,
Good Boys.
No, it was the one where. Oh, he wears like a spaceship or something. Yeah, he's wearing like a space helmet.
Right. Popular children's book.
Yeah, he's all deformed.
Yeah, Moon Boy. Yeah,
it's one that makes you just go like, oh, there's no way you're going to see this and not just be in a puddle of tears the entire time. So it's just like I don't need this in my life. I'm already on edge. I don't don't throw this at me here. Where it's just like, oh, here's a child with deformities
compared to a silent voice.
Oh my word. But yeah, this kid has quite the record of
maybe
bad stuff
we
going
need to
down.
get you to stop suggesting movies and TV shows.
He likes making things fun around here. But yeah, so other than that, like I said, I wish I'm kind of glad I don't know more about the Invincible books and stuff like that, because something like this, and if they keep this level of product up, come for season 2 and everything. Which I have no reason.
Don't call it that, man. Like I know you're just talking,
yeah.
but like you can't call this stuff product.
Yeah,
like,
well, you know
that really sucks. That takes all of the art out of it.
That's true. That was dismissive. I apologize.
It's just content.
It's even that kind of sounds a little dirty.
It does. It sucks. And I think that's part of the problem.
Yeah,
with viewing things now, and I'm not saying that you did it on purpose.
No.
Adam. I know that you
give someone the job producer. A producer produces a product. I mean, it's the same root word.
No, it's not the same at all. It's not the same at all.
It is the same word, though. It's like you don't
have
your director isn't an artist. Your director's a director, but your producer's a producer.
But the person who, the people who made Blue Beetle are making a product.
Okay,
the people who, you know what I mean.
Yeah. It's the people who made Blue Beetle are the same people who made Crystal Pepsi. I get it.
Yes.
Oh man, if there was a Blue Beetle Crystal Pepsi cross promo,
Blue Pepsi,
it would be the most famous thing to come out of that movie.
Crystal
Imagine
Blue
what
Pepsi.
Wes Anderson could do if he quit letting the studios tell him how to make his movies.
Get yourself an independent
if he quit making
voice.
Products and actually let his true art shine through what they'd be like.
In his last movie, it is a play. It's a movie. No, it's a play first that you're watching. In the play, the screenplay be written about a movie that hasn't been made yet. And every studio head went, more. We need another layer.
And then Hans Zimmer thing came in and went, wow.
Charlie Kaufman-esque all of a sudden.
Inside and out on all of this stuff. All right, before we get to our final review of this animated special, we have to find out how it relates back 1-to-1 with Sylvester Stallone.
Why, thank you, Adam. I have a prepared statement.
Ooh.
Up and at 'em, Mr. Stallone. And we didn't do that the entire show, and I'm very happy for that. This week's Stallone connection is Phil Lamar, who voices the role sidekick in Adam Eve, but for the rest of his life, he will be known as Marvin in Pulp Fiction. In real life, Phil Lamar could save the president's life from assassination, and the headline would read, Marvin from Pulp Fiction saves president's life. Thanks, Marvin, says president. Phil Lamar was once a cast member on the very difficult to watch Mad TV, but he transitioned nicely, moving from Saturday Night Live's Ugly Stupid Sister to voiceover work. And I know what you're thinking, Stallone. You're wondering if Phil Lamar has ever worked on a Star Wars, and the answer is yes. He was the voice of Bail Organa on the TV series Rebels, doing a damn good Jimmy Smits impression. It's good enough, in fact, that I actually thought it was Jimmy Smits doing the voice, which is weird that I have such a strong opinion on Jimmy Smits. Who knew? In 2019, Phil Lamar worked on the video game Mortal Kombat 11, where he did the voice of Total Khan. That might mean someone to somewhere. That might mean something to someone somewhere. But to me, it sounds like his parents were just setting him up for failure by giving him the name Total. And you're also in Mortal Kombat 11, Mr. Stallone. You voice your character of John Rambo. And I don't know how a Vietnam vet suffering from PTSD stacks up in a fight against an ancient mythological dragon, but probably not so good. I don't know what kind of money they were offering you, but in order for you to agree to it, I'm guessing you could buy 3 different Carl's Jr.'s locations with the money you made for half a day's work. I only bring this up because I'm jealous and because I'm interested in investing in some Hardee's franchises. Remember when there was that commercial where Paris Hilton was sexily eating a Hardee's cheeseburger?
Yeah.
Who did they make that commercial for? Were there people who were on the fence about Carl's Jr. burgers and Paris Hilton took them over the top? How many cheeseburgers do you think Paris Hilton has eaten in her entire life? More or less than 5. When the proletariat eventually takes down the billionaire class, do you think they'll give her a pass because she ate a burger on a commercial once? I have more thought-provoking questions just like these if you ever want to hang out, Mr. Stallone. By the way, this week I saw you were hanging out with Henry Winkler.
Yeah.
It looks like you guys were having fun. Although, honestly, it looked like Henry Winkler was doing most of the heavy lifting there. I wonder if you two got around to talking about Richard Gere, who was both of your guys' co-star in The Lords of Flatbush. And if his name did come up, what did you guys talk about? Burrowing rodents, maybe? Anyway, who am I to speculate? I'm just one guy. Hope to hear from you soon. Your pal, Sweet Chauncey from the internet.
Bill Hader talks about working with Henry Winkler. And he's like, he's the nicest guy in the world, and he's always trying to get everybody some food, put the spread on.
I was gonna say he seems like the guy who always wants to make sure you've eaten.
Yeah,
he's an old Jewish guy. He's gonna have that in him. Yeah,
he's like, are we gonna be able to get the plates in and never get everybody in for the? It's just like, yeah, we're doing this scene right here. He's just like, yeah, but I just want to make sure that the meal is all set to go. It's just like it sounded so wholesome and everything.
Awesome.
That's how I picture him. Yeah.
All right. Well, here at the old HMP, we have our own patented Robin rating system. Bruce, where does, let me get the full title here, Invincible presenting Adam Eve special episode fall on the Robin rating system for you?
For me, it's the reason that the Tim Drake rating's here. Like, it's probably not going to be anybody's favorite show, but everybody's going to like it. And I think, to me, that's like what Tim Drake is that mass appeal.
Yeah. Sean?
No, get some Silas in.
Silas, what do you got?
Man, it took me a second to figure out what the Robin rating was, but I'm going to have to agree with my dad on this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna go the same. For me, it's Tim Drake as well. I thoroughly enjoy this. Again, I was shocked at how decent that action scene was. It kind of blew me away, and I was like, wow, people actually there are a couple of people that actually still care about putting good action on the screen. And even so in animation form. And I just want to go, can y'all storyboard artists? Can you jump over to some of these Hollywood things and put a little bit more pizzazz in some of them? Because and we'll talk about it on 30 Questions. Boy, some of these shows could use a little bit of that energy in them. And but yeah. Tim Drake for me.
So boys, as Samuel L. Jackson so eloquently put it in Jurassic Park, hold on to your butts because here we go. This is my second favorite thing I've seen this year.
Wow.
Yes. Mission Impossible 17 or whatever one that was. That was my favorite thing we've seen so far this year. But this is number 2. And I am giving it a Dick Grayson.
Very nice.
This is such a joy. It was such a surprise. You know, this was not the level of surprise that Lone Wolf and Cub was. But it's damn close to that, because when I started watching this thing, I was like, man, cartoon, man, not even Invincible, man. And within 10 minutes, I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah, they're just like, oh, we know how to tell stories around here.
And it is such a joy. It is that's not to say that the show itself is joyous. It's a bit of a bummer, honestly. And if you're reading the IMDb reviews, there's a whole lot of like really angry dudes that there's a lady who's got a bigger power set than Invincible, where they clearly have never read a single Invincible comic book, because Adam Eve is far better superhero than Invincible is. And it has been that way since episode 1.
Get it together.
So this is a Dick Grayson for me.
Very nice. Well, that is it, everybody. Another episode down. And when do we say the second season is coming? November
3rd.
Very nice. All right. So we'll be packing up for that one, because if this is any indication of where the next season's going, I am excited for it. Next week, we're going to, let's talk about what we're going to be doing next week in just a minute. In the meantime, Bruce, where can we find more of your work on the internet?
Well, you can check out my YouTube channel. I finally put a new video out. So
nice.
Look at that. I posted a TikTok just before we started recording. It's got about 780 views so far. So you can go find my TikTok too. Silas, anything to promote?
I don't think so.
All right. You come back to us when you got a good project. We always want to, we'll let you advertise that, get it out to the folks. Shawnee?
We've got a podcast about a show we hate called Marvel 30Q. And the show that we hate currently is called Secret Invasion. And we're on the final episode of both that show and the podcast. And if you dislike Secret Invasion as much as we have, you should tune in, because some of the questions are very, very telling.
We got some good questions this week, and honestly, like while this show has not been gangbusters, we got more questions this week than we have at any time. I think everybody was just going,
because everyone's perplexed. Like, why is this a thing that exists?
What did we do? Why did we deserve this?
It makes no sense at all.
We'll find out all of these questions and more on Marvel 30Q. Just look that up on all of your podcatching devices, and that'll be there. Join us next week, everybody. We're going to be checking out a movie called Shin Masked Rider. That is available on Prime Video right now. It just looks absolutely insane. So that's SHIN, Shin Masked Rider. I didn't even read a plot synopsis. I saw about 10 seconds of a trailer, and I go, this is HMP material all day long, son. So we're going to be checking that out. So join us next week for Shin Masked Rider for Sweet Sean Kovacs from the internet. Bruce, Leslie, and Silas, my name's Adam Porters. Stay super, everybody.
Bye, Marty and Evie.